Hello and welcome to your weekly sermon on Social Justice Sunday Radio. Today we have a nice lineup of your typical suffragettes, starting with a black woman coming back from college. I'm calling her black. She's obviously a colored person. Person of color? I really dislike that term because it implies that people who are white are translucent or some other such nonsense. So anyway, this is a great meme. It says, coming back from college like, Mom, Daddy, I'm a depressed minority, and you can see her in her ethnic garb, I guess you could say. That's a winner. I'll be keeping that one. Concern about racism and sexism in SuperTuxKart. For those of you unaware, SuperTuxKart is a GNU licensed free game, which is also available on Windows as well as Linux and other Ubuntu operating systems. It says, hi, I contributed to SuperTuxKart, a kart game, new engine featured in the version 0.9. However, I left the project 2 months ago because, in my opinion, some offending materials were included. One of the new track being showcased takes place in the grammar. Takes place in a Aztec-like fictional environment and has several instances of Native American cultural appropriation. The poster associated for the release speaks for itself. A white woman is wearing an outfit that can be depicted as a mix of Native American clothes from different nation and a halo of feathers. In the game Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec deity, let's say, it's Quetzalcoatl, I'm calling him, according to Wikipedia, is an Aztec god. Figure is used in several places without any concern about its religious meaning. Kind of like the feminists desecrating Christian figurines. I remember the defamation of the Blessed Virgin Mary, right? But that was perfectly okay. I believe they put shit on her or something. That wasn't cultural appropriation. That wasn't religious appropriation. That wasn't disregarding somebody's deeply held religious beliefs. I'm just pointing out the sheer hypocrisy of these people. As a figure is used in several places without any concern about its religious meaning. The track also features an Aztec village, but half of its inhabitants, are monkeys. It's Suzanne, the icon from Blender, but her overrepresentation, around 8 models over the 15 models in the village, is, in my humble opinion, offending, especially since the second other track, Susanna, is only present twice. On the other hand, the new track, which takes place on an island with a big airport, has 8 models of Sarah, the white woman in the poster, who is appropriating Aztec culture, in a bikini swimsuit. Even in the hall of the airport, there are something like 2 Suzannes, 4 GNU, who is still wearing his t-shirt, and 4 quote-unquote Aztec women also featured from the other new track. In my opinion, it's privileging a male gaze position. Typical. It's not the first time the game do that. 2 years ago, when Sarah was introduced, there was a controversy. She was the first female human character in the game, and one of her animation is making her skirt reveals her pants while jumping. The team didn't remove the animation, though. Yeah. I don't know. Her pants. I have no idea why they just didn't give her pants to begin with. That obviously would have... Because, I mean, what's the point here? She's wearing pants under a skirt. So now, if she was just wearing the pants, everything would be hunky-dory, but if there's a skirt covering it, it's sacrilege. It is immodest and immoral to show the pants under the skirt. It makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. While there are probably free gaming software projects doing worse, the family nature of the game makes its representations appear less harmful than they are really. Debian still packages SDK 0.8, which doesn't have Sarah. This is just great. You know, the ideal feminist game character, like Anita Sarkeesian said, is the one with no personality and is pretty much just a blotch on your computer screen. They're not allowed to have any shape because it might be disregarding the experiences of women who do not look exactly like this woman, and disabling or not allowing other women to project themselves into the character, because that never happens to those patriarchal shitlords. Number 2, Not Tumblr. This game is misogynistic and offensive. 1 star. A game review for Wedding Escape. The reviewer says, so apparently a woman can't be stuck with a negative male figure and try to escape, and it's all the woman's fault. This promotes the male agenda by painting all women as crazy, eccentric, or something that should be run from, simultaneously, subconsciously showing that commitment is quote-unquote bad in a society that can barely converse with each other anymore. I must say, you, good so-and-so, are not doing anything to improve communication relations. This game is misogynistic and offensive. All genders, plural, should be represented as well as same-sex marriages. I hated it. If I could give it 0 stars, I would. Well, you know what I have to say is, if you would like to see this kind of game you describe in your review, go out and fucking make it. You have this ideal world, but all you are interested in doing is complaining about the present situation, and you're not interested in doing anything to make your lot better in life, to make other people's lot better, to be the change you wish to see in the world. And that is something that completely escapes the Tumblr Nut Jobs. From Facebook, wishing I could give more context, but it wouldn't help. So-and-so says, really, they are not related. You make them slaves, then after you free them, you separate them from yourselves. Then all of a sudden you expect them to be white, to be Wall Street, to be ambitious, to be industrious. Okay, so obviously what this person, presumably either a social justice warrior or a black person, is upset over the fact that black people were enslaved by in some parts of America. Remember, it's not everyone owned slaves. It was more or less the wealthy upper class, let's say. And then there was the Jim Crow period where segregation was a thing. And then we got rid of such racist laws. And now we expect black people to be functioning members of society, I guess. And to be clear, America is a meritocracy, which means that, of course, to be successful, you need to be industrious. We do not reward people who just basically sit on their asses all day. And the fact that you would insinuate that black people are natively incapable of being industrious is in and of itself quite insulting. Anyway, you all white hypocrites, why are you bothered of being shamed if you have nothing to be ashamed of? For the record, I am not ashamed. My ancestors, to my knowledge, had no slaves, so I feel no shame for being white. No, because deep down your hearts know that what you see now is the ripple of Jim Crow. Jim Crow is responsible for the slums in Chicago. Yes, that's sort of like blaming the patriarchy. We have got a bit beyond the 60s civil rights movements, and I would imagine you are the next generation. I do not necessarily agree with the whole transferring of wealth from one generation to another, just like I do not agree in transferring the guilt of a previous generation to the next. Now, I'll agree that there are disadvantages to growing up in the inner city, the ghettos and slums. That also applies to any white people growing up there. Just because the majority is black, I mean, what are you going to say about the white people that are stuck in slums? Is it because of Jim Crow? No, it is because they are an underclass, basically. They're the economically, I want to say disprivileged. But the problem is that we need to incentivize them rather than reward them for doing nothing. When your minimum paying job is paying less than being on unemployment, we obviously have a problem with the current system. I guess you are magicians. Okay, civil right and everything in the past disappears. You guys fix black people. You got them from Africa. Fix them. Are you not the master race? I think that the only way we can fix societal problems is if we work at them together. But you are obviously taking the piss on this one. Men talking in the library is intimidating to a social justice warrior. Yellow. One thing I love about the patriarchy is that you can tell a group of teenage girls to shut up in the library and they'll do as they're told. Teenage boys won't. Their arrogance is inconceivable to the extent that it intimidates me. Pink likes this. Blue says, depends how you tell them. It's probably a hormonal thing. I don't think they'd shut up for me if I told them either. Green says, I don't know. That's still an issue brought about by the patriarchy, though, Andy. Heh. That's interesting. Is the OP Andy? Is Yellow Andy? Male feminist. I reckon. Like it's demonstrative of the fact that boys are raised as free agents and girls are raised to do as they're told, you know. A lot of problems cropping up for someone who claims for social justice. The fact that you are basically accusing men of having no agency of their own outside of their hormonal impulses is quite insulting, actually. And I can't even. But the fact that you are also asserting that girls have no agency outside of what they're told to do is insulting to girls. So you're basically insulting both groups, saying that they're nothing but victims of venomous fate. Yellow says again, Yellow being the OP, yeah, that's exactly my point, points above. The first sentence was completely ironic. Blue says, there are a shitload of arrogant boys, but also a shitload of arrogant girls. It's all about context, schooling, and other factors which will make them, it says then, shut up. Plus, I don't know if you could necessarily be applauded for following some random's directions. I was raised up with some sisters. They never shut up when told to. So, as you can see, it has much to do with the environmental factors. I know it's anecdotal, but it has blaming on the fucking patriarchy. Oh, my God. From Tumblr, I'm really bad says, I genuinely just want to move to an island with all women. I don't want to share my space or world with men anymore. They hate us. They hate us so much. And I can feel it, and it's so scary, and I'm tired of fighting it, and I just want to protect women and run away and be safe. Now, I wonder who could have possibly put such a notion into their head. Really? Who, besides the feminists, constantly preaching that this is misogynist, that's misogynist. Just a bunch of fucking women-hating men. It's all around here. So good job. Bravo, feminists. Classic Twitter. I had one wish. It's that one wish. It's that by the time #RoyalBaby grows up, all children are given the freedom to decide their own gender and sexuality. Another tweet. Female #RoyalBaby born. I hope they give the baby more time to decide on their gender, though. Third tweet. May the quote-unquote Princess Royale grow up to be a strong, resilient woman working towards gender equality for all women less privileged. #RoyalBaby. What's the problem right there? I hope the royal baby grows up and chooses to be a fucking feminist, right? Yeah, that's basically it. I assume these are all the same person, but they might not be. No, they're not. Okay. I got the picture, it was already blacked out. Why are landmarks being decorated pink to celebrate the #RoyalBaby? Gender stereotype much? Welcome to a world of gender stereotypes. At City Westminster, quote, landmarks in Westminster will be turning pink to celebrate the new #RoyalBaby, end quote. And the final tweet, we live in a society now where we accept gender neutrality. Don't embed a sense of gender in the #RoyalBaby. Assign a neutral name. Yeah. Just because you have the biological parts or the anatomical parts of a woman, that doesn't make you any more a woman than me, for example. I'm just as much a woman as this baby with the woman body parts is. You fucking oppressive shitlords. How dare you? I can't even. Moving on. After all, human rights are negotiable. Green says, it's funny how these blackouts all look like dicks. I'm sure that is part of the oppressive patriarchy's plan. Green says, I'm not saying that women should be appointed just because she's a woman. I'm saying that women should be appointed because she's professional plus woman. First of all, I don't know. Why on social media is it that sort of grammar standards are so low? Anyway, red or maroon, brown maybe, quotes plus woman. And Green says exactly. And Brown says that's textbook a definition of sexism. Sometimes I can't grasp my head. Those penises are just kidding. Sometimes I can't grasp my head around the things you say. You don't even understand what sexism means. Green says, listen, you're looking at this very superficially. Discrimination is okay in some cases. It's okay if it's backed up by a good goal, and lucky for us, Green is here to set the goalposts and decide which goals are good and which ones are bad. It's a well-known practice worldwide that if a woman and man are equally qualified, women should be given a priority because that's how gender equality is achieved, and in specific situations, some other goals can exist. The last part is very ambiguous. I have no idea what the fuck that means. Yeah, because it's okay to discriminate against other people, just as long as you are considered the minority, it's okay to discriminate against the majority. And remember, it's only prejudice plus power that equals sexism. Anything less, and sexism is basically just fine. So is racism. That's the social justice model. And unfortunately, it appears that Red has just stumbled upon the very Tumblrist ideology. Red, I stopped reading after, quote, discrimination is okay in some places, end quote. Let's stop talking about this. You said more than necessary already. Smiley face, it's just not right. Green says, well, I explained in very simple words. I can say this in a different way. In every specific situation, violation of human rights is justified. There are objective grounds for that. Yeah, because, what the Nazis did to the Jews was, from their perspective, it was justified. The superior Aryan race was, we got to get rid of these Jews. They're filthy. And I'm sure the leaders at the top felt perfectly justified in that. So, it's just very dangerous ideology that they perpetuate. And Red concludes by saying, I continued reading and now I regret. And so do I. And finally, Marvel's Thor is triggering. In a Tumblr post titled Age of Ultron PSA, public service announcement, Fairy Shark Mother says, please remember that the worship of Norse gods is a thriving and real religion. Many members are offended or even triggered by the Marvel Thor. Please remember to tag posts about him as Marvel Thor and not Marvel Thor and not just Thor. Also remember to be respectful of other people's beliefs, especially at this time. Of course, you would never hear them championing the beliefs of Christians when they're lobbying against legalizing gay marriage, or they don't want to provide contraceptives to women employees through health insurance. You would never hear anybody on Tumblr asking their fellow Tumblrettes to respect the Christian beliefs. Now, I'm not Christian, but I can point out hypocrisy when I see it. Of course, like I said before, according to Tumblr and the people on there, the social justice warriors on there, being a bigot is only possible if you have power. If you don't have power, you can't be a bigot. Unfortunately, they will stereotype to the extreme. As in, I have virtually no power whatsoever, speaking personally, and just because I'm white, they'll take it that I have a sense of, or I have power over somebody, some minority. Just being white and male, I have this power over people. I don't even see it. It must be like that glass ceiling. Anyway, this concludes your Sunday sermon. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll meet again here next Sunday for another sermon on social justice.